Reborn as an 200-pound woman, relying on her father being the tribe leader, she forced 5 stunning beast husbands upon herself. Consequently, every husband loathed her to the core, refusing even to touch her, yet, she would not give up. To spend a night with one of them, she secretly spiked his food with a love-inducing elixir, while swallowing 500 aphrodisiac pills herself, hoping to ignite a flame of passion. However, just as she pinned her beast husband to the bed, the overdose of the drug backfired and killed her instantly. I snapped my eyes open, gasping for air violently. Immediately, I touched my own body. Didn't I get swallowed by the zombie horde in the apocalypse? Why am I here? Before I could react, a man with a flushed face and dazed eyes lunged at me. I panicked, instinctively channeling the remnant power in my body, and kicked him right in the groin. The man staggered and fell to the ground, a flash of shock in his eyes, only to be quickly drowned by lust again, struggling to climb back up. Terrified out of my wits, I didn't dare stay a moment longer, scrambling out of the room. Oh my god. That was too scary. I almost got that done to me by a beast man. Wait, a beast man? Just then, a splitting headache struck, and countless memories not my own flooded my mind. After processing the memories, I felt like I had just eaten crap. The original owner was also named Lu Ming, the daughter of Lu Xiao, leader of the Salt Oasis. She was lazy, gluttonous, vicious at heart, hideously ugly, and always smelled strange. Relying on her father's power, she forced Lu Xiao to secure 5 of the West's top prodigies as her husbands, but none of the 5 husbands liked her. They dodged her like a plague. What a disaster. A forced melon is never sweet. I'll find an opportunity later to dissolve these partnerships. First, I need to check if my abilities are still here. If my wood element superpower from my previous life remains, I'll have a way to protect myself in this strange beast world. Before I could even try, I saw a body, an enormous black python, slithering by in front of me. When the python saw me, a look of human-like disgust flashed in its eyes. The next second, the python turned, transformed into a tall man, and walked away. I stared at his retreating, human form back, my expression complex. Was that Lin Jing? The incredibly mysterious second male lead? He looks handsome, just a bit cold. I quickly regained my focus, closed my eyes, and tried to connect with the nearby plants. A moment later, a small green vine sprouted from my palm. Thank goodness, the power is still there. I let out a breath of relief. I walked to the nearby river to wash my face. But when I saw my reflection in the water, I gagged instantly. My god, is this the woman in the water? So fat I can't even see a neck, covered in freckles with matted hair stuck to my cheeks. And there's a foul odor radiating from my body. This is too ugly. My mental state almost collapsed. Though I wasn't a goddess in my previous life, at least I was delicate and pretty. When have I ever been this ugly? Forget about men. Even I am disgusted by myself. No, I must wash thoroughly. I endured the smell, crouching by the river to wash my hair, but my hair was so dirty. I washed it several times until the water turned black, and it was still oily. If only I had some shampoo. This wretched hair is impossible to manage. Super Invincible Charisma System activated. Host, Lu Ming. Welcome to the Beast World. I am the system, Jiang Jiang. I snapped my eyes open, a wild flash of excitement crossing my eyes. A system? A cheat? But what the heck is a Super Invincible Charisma System? What is it good for? I chose that name. Isn't it nice? I mean, it sounds catchy, right? What's catchy about it? And what is this cheat actually for? This system aims to help the host improve her looks, physique, and charisma to conquer the 5 designated beast husbands. The host interacts with them to increase affection. And the higher the affection, the better the rewards. Rewards? What kind of rewards? My eyes lit up instantly. Right now, what I need most is to be beautiful and thin. along with survival supplies. Before I knew it, the system manifested a small cart, slowly pushing it past my eyes. Beauty pills, slimming potions, daily necessities. Coming through, mind your feet. The shampoo the host wanted is also among the rewards. I rolled my eyes in silence. How can a system be so talkative? Humph, I've waited for you for so long. Do you know how lonely I was by myself? I raised an eyebrow. Calculating, conquer, sure, I'll conquer them. I have to interact with them to break the relationship anyway, so I might as well get some rewards. So, those 5. What is their current affection level toward me? The system paused for a second, and answered truthfully, host, for the 5 husbands, their affection levels are all below -90. I listened to the system's answer, the corner of my mouth twitching violently. They hate me that much? Did the original owner offend them that badly? The system sensed my concern, hurriedly reassuring, host, rest assured. The system will assist throughout the whole process. The newbie starter pack has been issued. Please check it. 3 items appeared before me instantly, namely shampoo, body wash, and facial cleanser. Seeing these 3 things, my heart couldn't help but waver. This is exactly what I needed. I gritted my teeth, fine. For the sake of the starter pack, I'll give it a try. Oh right, are there any time limits? Or will I be electrocuted if I fail? Rest assured, host, there are no time limits for missions. Besides, we are very user-friendly. There's no punishment for failing. That's good to hear. If you need help from the system, just shout Jiang Jiang, okay? Goodbye, host. With that, the system disappeared from my sight. I hurriedly grabbed the shampoo and returned to the river to wash. This time, my hair was finally washed clean, and the grime on my body was scrubbed away. Although I was still fat and ugly, at least I was much cleaner. I felt like I had come back to life, and even my mood improved. Just as I was about to go ashore, there was a sudden splash behind me. A leopard was thrown into the stream. I was startled, turning around to see a tall figure, dressed in deep green exotic gear, standing on the bank. His face cold and sharp. It was Lin Jing. Lin Jing stood on the bank looking surprised, as if he hadn't expected me to be here. I hadn't expected to run into Lin Jing here either. I instinctively crouched down, hiding my body in the water with only my head exposed, my face burning red. At this moment, Lin Jing probably thinks I was waiting here on purpose, trying to seduce him. After all, the original owner, to sleep with her beast husbands, had done all sorts of things. Lin Jing definitely thought so, the look in his eyes full of disgust. This woman is becoming more shameless by the day. In order to get my attention, she even uses such cheap, disgusting tactics. It's sickening. Get out of here already. His cold voice sounded like a winter chill. I felt angry. Clearly, I'm the one who's suffering, so why is he acting like he's the victim? Even if this man is a target I need to conquer, I don't feel like putting up with his foul attitude. Lin Jing, be reasonable. Is this riverbank owned by your family? If you can come here, why can't I? I'm bathing here. You suddenly burst in. Saw everything. And you don't even apologize? You're still accusing me of seducing you? How can you be so thick-skinned? Lin Jing was stunned. He had never seen this Lu Ming before. In the past, whenever she saw him, she would only fawn over him with a pathetic, obsessed look. Today, she actually dared to talk back to him? He opened his mouth, unable to retort for a moment, and could only coldly leave behind. I didn't know you were here. With that, he turned and dragged the leopard away. I watched his back and rolled my eyes. What a person. Talk about narcissistic. As I packed my things to leave, my stomach grumbled unhelpfully. With a thought, a green vine sprouted from my palm, precisely wrapping around a large fish in the stream, pulling it effortlessly onto the bank. I looked at the fish flopping on the ground and smiled with satisfaction. Not bad, the ability is still very useful. By the time I returned to the oasis carrying the fish, it was already dark. The bonfire in the central sand was roaring, and the tribespeople were sitting around grilling meat, laughing and chatting away. As soon as I walked over, a woman in gorgeous clothing, looking delicate and beautiful, blocked my path. She was the most beautiful woman in the Ziyue tribe, with 7 beast husbands, but she was not satisfied, and still wanted the original owner's husbands. Therefore, she hated the original owner, and would cause trouble for her from time to time. Lu Ming, the fact that you spiked Xian Mo's food with love elixir yesterday is known to the entire oasis. Ziyue raised her voice on purpose, drawing the attention of those around them. Why don't you look at yourself in a puddle of urine? So ugly and fat. How could Xian Mo ever fancy you? To use such cheap tactics. Truly disgusting. Ziyue's voice was very loud, and those nearby heard it all, turning their gazes toward me with undisguised contempt. I, however, remained calm, looking at Ziyue indifferently. What I do is my business. It's not your place to point fingers. Ziyue was left speechless. Seeing the fish in my hand, she began to mock again. How useless. As a noble daughter of the oasis, you actually have to hunt for your own food? If I were you, I would have died of shame already. The laughter grew even louder. Just then, a gentle figure walked over, holding a piece of grilled lean meat in his hand, and handed it to me. It was UCI, whose original form is a 9-tailed red fox, possessing an androgynous beauty, and the most responsible of the 5 husbands. Even though he loathed the original owner, he never cut off her food. The fact that the original owner could reach 750 pounds, he had a hand in that too. His voice was gentle, but his expression remained distant. Take it. This scene left everyone present stunned, including Ziyue. She looked at UCI in disbelief, unable to understand his actions. Didn't he also hate Lu Ming? But on second thought, the meat Lu Ming usually ate was always provided by UCI. Thank you, UCI. A flash of surprise crossed Yuxi's eyes. This was the first time Lu Ming had thanked him. He didn't think any further. He said coldly, I just don't want people to misunderstand. I can't even afford to support a goddess. With that, he turned and walked away. Ziyue watched this scene, her face pale with anger. Just as she was about to speak, several pieces of grilled meat and fruit flew in from different directions, landing with a thud at my feet, discarded like trash. Looking up, I saw Lin Jing, Feng, and Yichen sitting not far away, their expressions cold. Alongside Xian Mo, the man I had kicked in the groin was sitting alone by the bonfire grilling meat, his expression indifferent, as if what happened yesterday had never occurred. Ziyue watched this scene, the jealousy in her eyes barely contained. She scoffed coldly, it's just charity. What's there to be proud of? I stared at her coldly, saying nothing, throwing meat like it was garbage. That was exactly how you treat a beggar. I really wanted to throw the meat hard, right back into those men's faces. But having struggled through the apocalypse, I knew the value of food better than anyone, thinking it was better to take it than leave it. I was just about to bend down to pick up the meat, when an angry voice reached my ears. Don't pick that up. It was the original owner's brother, Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan's strength in the oasis was also quite impressive, second only to her 5 husbands. He glared at Xian Mo, who was leisurely grilling meat. Xian Mo, Lu Ming is your woman. How can you not give her any food? Xian Mo curled his lips in mockery, his gaze falling instantly on Lu Ming. His disgust was undisguised. Look at her size. She's as ugly as a fat pig. Going hungry will help her lose weight, so we don't waste food. After saying that, he laughed out loud. Jeers erupted from those around them again. My cheeks burned slightly. Not from shyness, but from anger. I glared fiercely at Xian Mo, cursing this dog of a man in my heart. His mouth was simply too poisonous. Just you wait. Sooner or later I'll make you kneel and beg for mercy. Lu Yuan was about to retort, but I pulled on the corner of his clothes. I said softly, brother, I won't eat it. Lu Yuan looked at me strangely. In the past, Lu Ming wouldn't just refuse grilled meat. She would even snatch up fruits and vegetables. To hear her volunteer not to eat today, he looked at me with confusion, patted my head, and said, come find me if you're hungry, okay? With that, he turned and left. I looked down at my own fat and gritted my teeth. I must lose weight. I have to lose weight. Once I slim down and become beautiful, I'll definitely blind all their dog eyes. I turned and walked toward my room. I hadn't taken many steps when I felt a cold gaze resting on me. Looking back, it was Lin Jing. He didn't know when he had started following me, looking at me with complex eyes. "Hey. Is there something the matter?" Lin Jing asked, his voice still icy. "What did you mean by what you said at the riverbank today?" I blinked. Looking blank. I said a lot of things at the riverbank. Which sentence was this man referring to? What words? I forgot. Lin Jing said, word for word, "You said. Is this riverbank owned by your family? If you can come here, why can't I?" I was speechless. I didn't expect this man to actually remember that. Oh, that, I just said it on a whim. I didn't mean anything by it. Please don't take it to heart. Lin Jing was silent for a moment. Before leaving behind one sentence, "Don't use such methods to seduce me again." Having said that, he turned and left. I was instantly speechless once again. Seduce him? When did I ever seduce him? I was clearly taking a bath. It was this man himself who suddenly burst in. Right? I curled my lips in annoyance. What a narcissistic, stinky man. After cursing, I turned and headed back to my room. XINMO happened to be passing by and caught my last sentence. Narcissistic stinky man. Watching my departing back. A playful smirk curled on the corner of his lips. This woman seems a bit different now. I returned to my room and was instantly stunned by the sight before me. The room was piled with clothes and food scraps, exuding a foul stench. It was practically a landfill. Was the original owner this slovenly? I shook my head helplessly and started cleaning the room, tossing all the garbage out and piling the dirty clothes by the door, intending to take them to the river to wash tomorrow. After a bout of busy work, the room looked much more spacious. But there wasn't even a blanket on the bed, and it would surely be freezing cold at night. I had no choice but to borrow a blanket from my brother's room, made the bed, and lay down on it. After working for half a day, my stomach started growling again. I looked at the fruit and dried nuts on the table, swallowing my saliva. I can't eat. If I eat, I'll really get fat. I desperately started to hypnotize myself, to distract myself. I started to channel my wooden ability to try and detox and lose weight. Although my ability had dropped to level 1, it was still enough for simple detoxification. A moment later, a faint green light shone from my body, and a layer of sticky, dirty gunk oozed out from my skin, emitting a foul stench. I was thoroughly disgusted, and rushed out of the room, not forgetting to bring my body wash with me. The nights in the oasis were exceptionally lively, enough to make one blush and heartbeat race. I quickened my pace to the riverbank, and bathed fully 3 times, before I finally washed the filth off my body. Just as I was about to get up and leave, I suddenly heard splashing sounds coming from upstream. I looked over out of curiosity, and the moment I saw it, I was stunned. Under the moonlight, a man was standing in the river bathing. Bare-chested, his fair, smooth skin, shimmering with a charming luster in the moonlight. His figure perfect to the extreme. I swallowed my saliva. These broad shoulders, this slim waist, these long legs. Absolutely stunning. My gaze subconsciously traced down to his lower body, only to be sadly submerged by the river water. Moving my gaze up to the man's face, I recognized him instantly. Isn't this the original owner's 5th husband, Yi Chen? My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly averted my gaze, turning to run. But the next moment, my body froze in place. Lu Ming, you really are shameless. Daring to sneak a peek at me bathing. As the words fell, the man had already stood up from the river, and was striding toward me. I didn't even think, I ran for it. Are you kidding me? If not now, when should I run? This dog of a man actually beats people. This man is so precious. Going to the river to bathe and then blaming me for peeking? Besides, you wouldn't lose a chunk of meat for being seen. What a stingy bastard. Yi Chen watched the fleeing woman, his expression gloomy. Last time Lu Ming tried to approach him secretly, she had been fiercely taught a lesson by him. Who would have thought she'd come to peek at him bathing again? Truly incorrigible. I ran back to my room in one breath, and breathed a sigh of relief when I saw Yichen didn't follow. I lay on the bed, thinking of Yichen's exceptionally toned body just now, and couldn't help but swallow my saliva again. I have to say, since I arrived in this beast world, he's the man with the best body I have ever seen. It's just a pity that the other party hates her to the core, and the difficulty of conquering him is extremely high. I sighed. Might as well wash up and sleep. I'll figure out how to conquer them later. I was just about to close my eyes to sleep, when the system's voice suddenly appeared in my mind. Host, XINMO, and Yichen's favorability have both increased by 10 points. What? XINMO actually increased my favorability? And Yichen too? I just accidentally peeked at him. Why did his favorability go up? Could it be that this dog XINMO has a masochistic tendency? Yesterday I drugged him and kicked him, and his favorability actually increased? And Yichen? I didn't expect that accidentally peeking at him bathing would actually make his favorability go up. I can only say that the creature known as man is really hard to understand. I didn't think too much about it, and fell asleep before I knew it. At that moment, Yichen was about to return to his own room. But halfway there, passing by my room, he don't know what he was thinking as his footsteps turned and he circled over. Just as he reached the doorway, he saw a huge pile of moldy clothes lying to the side, and instantly flew into a rage. He lifted his foot and entered the room, obviously intending to teach me a lesson. But after entering, the scene inside left him stunned. The room was extremely clean and tidy, no longer the landfill-like appearance it used to have, evidently having been meticulously cleaned. I was lying in the middle of the bed, all curled up in my sleep, looking rather pitiful. Yichen sneered inwardly, she deserves to be pitiful. A good blanket was ruined by her. She brought it on herself if she freezes to death. He intended to turn and leave, but when his gaze landed on Lu Ming's ugly face, his footsteps paused again. For some reason, he kept feeling that this face didn't seem so ugly anymore. I must be crazy to think she isn't ugly. I felt like there was someone in front of me in my sleep. And when I opened my eyes, I saw Yichen staring at me strangely. I was startled, thinking this man had followed me here to teach me a lesson, and quickly explained that I really didn't mean to peek at you bathing. I just happened to go to the river to wash my face. How was I supposed to know you were there? Yichen's expression gradually darkened, but luckily he didn't lay a hand on me in the end, just leaving behind the words, better be so, before turning and leaving the room. Watching the man's receding back, I breathed a sigh of relief. Stinky man. Tomorrow I must find a way to weld the door shut. After that, I yawned and fell back asleep. Except I didn't sleep well that night. Tossing and turning, unable to fall into a deep slumber. The next morning, I had just gotten up, when the system's voice sounded in my mind again. Host. Congratulations, your weight loss is showing initial results. Yichen's favorability, plus 20. Rewarded with weight loss pills and whitening pills. That's great. I was overjoyed, and quickly picked up a mirror to look at myself. Looking at myself in the mirror, the corners of my mouth couldn't help but curl upward. I really did slim down quite a bit, and my complexion was more ruddy too. I smiled slightly, in a great mood. The path to weight loss is long and arduous. Thinking about it, I grabbed the clothes by the door and walked to the river, getting ready to wash them clean. As soon as I arrived at the riverbank, the other women in the oasis all cast strange looks at me, whispering to each other, isn't that Lu Ming? She actually woke up so early, holding so many clothes. Could it be she's going to wash them herself? No way, right? She used to be too lazy to even wash her own hair. She must be putting on a show, trying to attract the attention of the 5 husbands. I rolled my eyes secretly, ignoring those whispers, finding a secluded spot to start washing the clothes. The women by the river saw me really washing them carefully, their expressions full of surprise. She still looks fat, but she has quite a lot of strength. In less than 2.5 hours, I had washed all the clothes clean. After holding the washed clothes and returning, many orcs were gathered in the square. Father was standing at the very front. My 5 husbands were all there as well. It seemed they were assigning patrol tasks for the oasis today. I felt a surge of resolve. Clutching my clothes, I walked over. Lu Xiao spotted me immediately. He frowned instantly. Ming'er. What are you doing here? Father, I want to join you all on patrol too. What did you say? I said, I want to go to the perimeter with you. Silence fell all around. Then, a wave of mocking laughter erupted in the square. Did you hear that? Lu Ming actually said she wants to go to the perimeter. That's hilarious. Even my 5 husbands frowned as they looked at me. They just assumed I was trying to get close to them. Lu Ming, stop messing around. You can barely even walk steadily. Going there will just hold us back. I didn't mind their mockery. Looking at Lu Xiao calmly, Father, don't worry. I won't be a burden to anyone. I've awakened the wood-type ability and can protect myself. A vine sprouted from my palm. Waving it in front of everyone. The square fell silent instantly. All the orcs widened their eyes, full of shock. A woman can actually awaken an ability? A woman can actually awaken an ability? That's impossible. Yeah. Only males with exceptional talent ever awaken abilities. How could Lu Ming, a woman, awaken one? Lu Xiao also looked at his daughter's tiny vine in shock, unable to snap out of it for a long while. In all his years, he had never seen a woman awaken an ability. I looked at the shocked expressions of the crowd, feeling smug inside, though my face remained calm. The way my husbands looked at me showed less disgust now. This woman really seemed to have changed. Lu Xiao finally came to his senses. Fine. Since you have awakened an ability, you may come along. XINMO, Ling Jin, UCI, Feng He, and Yi Chen. You 5 must look after her well. Do not let her get hurt. A woman awakening an ability is a major event in the oasis. Perhaps his daughter could lead the clan toward a better future later on. As he thought about this, Lu Xiao's gaze toward Lu Ming became much kinder, even carrying a hint of relief. I, meanwhile, just felt that my father was a bit unreliable. Sure enough, Lu Xiao's next words shattered my hopes. All right. Ming'er is in your hands now. You take her with you later. Without waiting for agreement, Lu Yuan transformed into a giant white wolf and dashed toward the forest, leaving me alone beside XINMO. Completely bewildered. It's over. How could this man be willing to let me on his back? XINMO's face darkened, wanting to refuse, but seeing Lu Xiao's expression, he had to endure it. He moved, transforming into a giant tiger and gesturing for me to get on. I scrambled onto the tiger's back. XINMO's body stiffened, glaring back at me with cold eyes. Don't be so stingy. Your fur is very soft, and it feels very comfortable to touch. XINMO's body stiffened even more. He cursed internally. This fat woman actually dared to touch my fur. Once we get into the forest, see how I'll deal with her. The team soon departed. Ling Jin transformed into a 10-meter-long black rock python and stayed beside XINMO. Seeing the giant python, I was so scared I subconsciously hugged XINMO's neck tightly. My scream made XINMO's ears buzz. Can you be quiet? XINMO's voice was full of impatience. I awkwardly loosened my grip. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. He's too scary. Ling Jin heard this, a flash of bewilderment in his eyes. Is he really that scary? I also realized I was being too over the top. Quickly letting go and saying awkwardly, sorry. I didn't mean it. You see, I transformed into a 9-tailed red fox and came over. I'm a sucker for fluffy things. Looking at the fiery red fox, I couldn't help but reach out to touch UCI. Your fur is so beautiful. Let me pet you, okay? UC's original form wasn't as scary as Ling Jin's, but rather quite handsome. However, before his hand could touch UCI jumped away vigilantly, keeping his distance. I retracted my hand awkwardly, feeling a bit embarrassed. I nearly forgot that UCI also detested me greatly. Behind me, Feng He and Yi Chen initially thought Lu Ming had truly changed for the better, and were about to approach, but before they could reach us, they saw her trying to tease UCI, instantly feeling they had overthought it. Soon, the team arrived at the forest on the oasis perimeter. XINMO immediately prepared to turn back into human form. I sensed something was wrong, cursing dog man under my breath. Just as he was about to transform, I quickly jumped to the ground. XINMO gave me a surprised look. then returned to his expression of utter disgust. Just stay here and don't run around. If you die, I'm not responsible for you. Without waiting for my response, Xi and Mo's figure quickly disappeared into the forest. So, this is how they look after me by leaving me alone? What kind of protection is this? I rolled my eyes. I didn't come here to be a burden. I came here to find food and supplies. I gathered some tender grass to weave a basket. It didn't look great, but it was functional. Walking up to a wild chestnut tree, I found a long stick to knock down the wild chestnuts. Watching the thorny wild chestnuts fall to the ground, a smile appeared on my face. What are you doing? A cold voice suddenly came from behind, startling me. I nearly died of fright. Turning around still shaken, I saw it was Yi Chen and glared at him. Do you walk without sound? Don't you know you can scare someone to death? This thing is prickly. The fruit is small. And it's not even enough to fill the gaps in your teeth. What are you doing gathering these? What do you know? This is called a wild chestnut. It's delicious, filling, and can be stored for a long time. It's even tastier than roasted meat. After speaking, I started picking up the wild chestnuts from the ground. I filled the basket quickly. Having no choice, I had to weave another basket. Yi Chen watched her expertly weaving the basket. A hint of surprise in his eyes. You can weave a basket? You can actually weave a basket? I said without lifting my head. What? Is there a problem? Yi Chen watched me in silence, his suspicion growing deeper. She used to refuse even touching tough grass. And now she could weave a basket. And even knew that wild chestnuts were edible. Just then, the system's voice sounded again. Host, Yi Chen's favorability has increased by 20 points. I was surprised inside. Only one day and his favorability grew by another 20 points? It seems men are nothing more than this. I looked at Yi Chen. Aren't you going to patrol? I have to go. Be careful yourself. There are many ferocious beasts in the forest. After speaking, he instantly transformed into a giant eagle and soared into the sky. I watched his receding figure without lingering, continuing to search for edible food. By the time the second basket was filled with ingredients, I was covered in sweat from exhaustion. The sweat sticking to my skin felt incredibly uncomfortable. So, I ran to the riverside, ready to wash my face. But seeing my reflection in the river water, I couldn't help but sigh, still so ugly. Even I despise myself. I thought about how I hadn't used my ability to detox yet today, and since it didn't take much effort, I started to use my ability, detoxing while losing weight. Just then, a deer head suddenly poked out from the nearby bushes. It was Feng He. He came to drink water, but smelled a sour, foul odor from far away, which disgusted him greatly. He instantly lost the urge to drink, tracking the scent to its source, only to find that I was the one causing it. He watched me calmly retract the vines, and calmly wash the dirty residue off my body, until I seemed to have slimmed down a size. Feeling doubtful in his heart, could this ugly woman be using her ability to detox and lose weight? Feng He had to admit. Lu Ming did look quite a bit better than before, though only by a little bit. I had no idea Feng He was watching from the shadows. After washing up, I returned to the forest to search for wild vegetables and mushrooms. I was like a diligent little hunter, harvesting all kinds of edible mushrooms, even discovering good things like silver ear fungus. By the end, I had completely filled 8 baskets. Although I was tired like a dog, I was incredibly happy. If I go back and make a feast, maybe I can win over those husbands. The conquest task will be easy to handle. I just wanted to pack my things, when I suddenly heard heavy breathing behind me. I subconsciously turned around to look, and the sight scared the living daylights out of me. A giant saber-toothed tiger had stood behind me at some point, staring at me fiercely with its bloodthirsty mouth wide open. My face turned pale with fear right then and there. I turned and ran. As I ran, I cursed inside. What kind of hell is this? I just turn my head, and I run into a tiger? Seeing me dare to run, the saber-toothed tiger chased after me with its jaws open. I knew I couldn't outrun a saber-toothed tiger, but I couldn't just stand there and wait for death, so I just had to run for my life. The saber-toothed tiger was extremely fast, and it looked like it was about to catch up. I was scared to death, hurriedly calling out in my mind, "Jiang Jiang, help me." The system appeared and spun around, striking a pose. My lips twitched. Why are you doing an intro animation now? The system circled me several times, without any intention to act. Host, hold on a little longer. Ling Jin is nearby. and is already heading your way. You won't die. Ling Jin is nearby. Already heading your way. You won't die. I was overjoyed, scanning the surroundings while running for my life, trying to see where Ling Jin was, but after checking, I couldn't even see a shadow. Instead, the saber-toothed tiger was getting closer, biting at me with its bloody jaws. Mama, help me. Save me. I was terrified to my core. To avoid being bitten to death, I quickly rolled into the side bushes. Although I avoided the fate of being bitten to death, I happened to roll down a hillside. The hillside was quite steep, and being fat, the rolling was endless. I felt like I was rolling toward the end of the world. I don't know how long I rolled for. I finally stopped, feeling as though all my bones were falling apart. Fortunately, the saber-toothed tiger didn't follow me down. As I panted and climbed up, I heard fighting sounds from above the hill. Carefully climbing back up, I saw Ling Jin's original form, the black rock python, confronting the saber-toothed tiger. The giant python was shrouded in black mist. The black mist seemed to be corrosive. Every time the saber-toothed tiger touched it, it would let out a shrill scream. It didn't take long before the saber-toothed tiger was tightly entangled by Ling Jin's body, ultimately losing all signs of life. I watched the scene from a distance. Ling Jin truly lived up to his reputation as a beast-man. The peak-level saber-toothed tiger was no match for him. Ling Jin shifted back to human form and walked to the tiger's carcass. Just as he was about to hoist it up, he saw me running over. My expression carried a hint of gratitude. Thank you for saving me. Ling Jin looked at me in my disheveled state, a trace of disgust flashing through his eyes. He muttered to himself, truly ugly. But her skin seemed a bit fairer, and the pockmarks on her face had faded quite a bit. She looked a little more pleasing to the eye, but still ugly, especially those protruding teeth. I wish I could pull them out one by one and put them back in properly. I felt confused by his gaze, especially since he kept staring at my mouth, his eyes full of disdain and a hint of danger. I couldn't help but step back twice, covering my mouth and staring at him vigilantly. What do you want? Nothing. Ling Jin averted his gaze, his tone icy. Just think your protruding teeth are still very ugly. If you can fix them, do it soon, lest they be an eyesore. He didn't realize at all that he was paying more and more attention to Lu Ming. I smiled slightly. Don't worry, I'll become beautiful sooner or later. I knew with the system, getting beautiful was just a matter of time. Seeing that I wasn't speaking anymore, Ling Jin didn't linger, hoisting the tiger's carcass and walking away, fearing that if he stayed, I would pester him incessantly. Watching his retreating back, I curled my lips. What a cold-hearted guy. Then, following the path in my memory, I returned to where I had left the baskets. I sat on the spot and ate some wild fruits to satisfy my hunger. When Xing Yamo returned, seeing me sitting there obediently, along with the 8 baskets on the ground, a flash of surprise crossed Xing Mo's eyes. What are you doing with these useless things? And these mushrooms might be poisonous. You better. Xing Yamo frowned, his tone dismissive. I gave him a side eye, my tone flat. These mushrooms are not poisonous. They are delicious, even more fragrant than roasted meat. When we get back, I'll cook them for you and you'll see. Xing Yamo scoffed. A delicate young lady who never lifts a finger now claims she can cook? It'd be good if you didn't poison yourself. Seeing he didn't believe me, I didn't explain further. Anyway, once I make a delicious feast back home, even if they want to eat, I won't give them any. It was dusk by the time we returned to the oasis. UCI walked toward me. He had a graceful face, androgynous and beautiful, almost too pretty for a man. Take it. I remember someone said they wanted to lose weight. If you eat such a huge piece of roasted meat, will you still be able to lose that body fat? This damn man is truly sharp-tongued. I gave Xing Yamo a calm, cold look, not bickering back as usual. Instead turning to look at UCI, taking the roasted meat with a smile. Thank you. Just then, the system's voice rang in my mind. Host, UC's favorability has increased by 10 points. I raised an eyebrow, looking at UCI with a gentle smile. UCI, come to my place another day. I'll make you something delicious. UC's voice was gentle, and he didn't refuse. Okay. Xing Yamo saw Lu Ming and UCI talking happily. a flash of disdain in his eyes. The corner of his cold lips curling into a mocking sneer. Among the few of them, UCI was the one who took the most care of this ugly woman, sending meat every day without fail. Fearing she would starve to death. It was precisely because of this that the original owner got fatter and fatter. I glanced at Xing Mo, intentionally taking a big bite of the roasted meat in front of him, chewing in an exaggerated manner, praising it loudly while eating. UC's cooking is really great. This meat is crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. It's so delicious. Xing Mo watched me trying to annoy him. His gaze as cold as ice. This fat woman is truly a 1000 beast level test. System, has Xing Mo's favorability changed? Host, Xing Mo's favorability has increased by another 5 points. Current favorability is 85. Keep it up, host. I was slightly startled, instantly understanding. This damn man is a classic case of being clingy. The more you ignore him or provoke him, the more he pays attention. In short, he's just a masochist. In a corner of the plaza, Ling Jin's gaze landed on me. This woman seems to be getting more and more interesting. Feng He sat in the crowd, giving me a faint look. Niechen sat not far away, staring at me with deep, brooding eyes. For some reason, he found the way I intentionally provoked Xing Mo to be incredibly interesting, even looking forward to seeing me provoke him even more. Best if I could make that guy Xing Mo jump in anger. I naturally sensed the several gazes on me, but didn't take them to heart. As I turned to head back, I saw someone blocking my way. It was Ziyu. A good dog doesn't block the road. You ugly woman, how dare you call me a dog? I called you one, so what? If you don't want to be treated like a dog, then get out of my way. My 5 beast husbands, I can tolerate because they are my target quests. For the sake of favorability, I can endure it. But who is Ziyu? Does she really think I'm a pushover? Ziyu had never been insulted like this before. She was instantly enraged, lifting her hand to slap me. You bitch. Dare to scold me? I'll slap your mouth shut. She wasn't afraid of Lu Yuan's reprimand at all. After all, her mother would protect her. Seeing the slap coming, I sneered internally. The moment the slap was about to land on my face, a vine suddenly shot out from my palm. With a forceful swing, the vine whipped Ziyu fiercely, knocking her straight away. All the beastmen present were stunned, their gazes fixed on the vine in my palm. Is this the ability she awakened? It clearly looks like wood element. How can it be used like this? Is this the ability she awakened? It clearly looks like wood element. How can it be used like this? Xing Mo looked at me in surprise, too. Although he knew I had awakened an ability, he hadn't taken it seriously. Seeing me whip Ziyu away with the vine now, a thought even occurred to him that she deserved it. Ling Jin, UCI, Wang, and Yichen all had different expressions, each with their own thoughts. No one said a word. Ziyu's beast husbands were also present, seeing their woman knocked away. Their faces looked terrible. One of them stepped forward, glaring at me. Lu Ming, Ziyu was just joking with you. Isn't this too much? I recognized him as Ziyu's third mate, Lanya. I sneered coldly, and retorted, let me ask you this. If I hadn't awakened my ability, and that slap had truly landed on my face just now, would you all have stood up to defend me? Would you all have stood up to defend me? Lanya was choked by my question, his lips twitching, unable to say a single word of rebuttal for a long time. Seeing his state, I scoffed, stepping forward. Why, no answer? Since you wouldn't defend me then, what right do you have to point fingers at me now? Ziyu struck first. Is it wrong for me to defend myself? Which rule says only she can bully me? And I can't resist? Well said. Xing Mo pushed aside the watching crowd and walked out. A faint smile on his lips, the curve of his smile, sharp, but his eyes were as cold as ice, scanning the 7 beast husbands around Ziyu. He was full of mockery. Strength is what matters here. If you don't have the skills and get countered, don't just look for backup. You even have the nerve to question others. Although he detested Lu Ming, she was, in name, his partner. He could bully her himself. But if others did, it was a slap to his own face. Ziyu stood there, her face flushed like a ripe wild fruit, trembling with rage. Pointing at Xing Mo, her voice shaking. Xing Mo, you're actually helping her? I've liked you for so long. You clearly knew that. How could you help this ugly woman? Xing Yamo glanced at her, his handsome face devoid of emotion. What's the point of having a belly full of bad intentions? Ziyu was choked into silence, able only to glare at me fiercely. Gritting her teeth, Lu Ming. You just wait. I will never let you go. I rolled my eyes, not taking her threat to heart at all, turning and heading back to my room with the herbs. But before I could even get comfortable, a woman's voice came from the doorway. Linger, are you there? My heart sank. It was the original owner's mother. I looked at the woman who walked in, feeling not a shred of warmth in my heart. The original owner's mother always loathed her, beating and scolding her daily. Without a drop of motherly affection, her arrival now surely meant no good. Mother, why are you here? Her mother's gaze landed on my face, a flash of surprise in her eyes. Frowning instinctively, you girl, why have you suddenly become so clean? I'm asking you, did you make Ziyu angry? I instantly understood her intentions. She had come to hold me accountable, even though I was her own daughter. She preferred to protect others, as if Ziyu were the one she had given birth to. I raised my eyes to look at Mother, asking with a fake smile, Mother, Ziyu told you this, didn't she? Her mother's face shifted slightly, but remained tough, so what if she did? Ziyu is more sensible and obedient than you, and she's prettier too. How can you compare to her? I didn't back down, retorting directly, so I made her angry. So what? What do you want, Mother? Do you want to beat me like you used to? Her mother felt unnerved by my gaze, initially wanting to strike out, but feeling like this daughter had changed. It was strangely eerie. She could only roar impotently. I warn you, you're not to bully Ziyu again, otherwise, I won't let you off. With that, she turned and left in a hurry. Watching her departing back, I felt a hidden mystery. A thought suddenly crossed my mind. Did Mother and Ziyu have some special blood relation? The system's voice chimed in. Host, Mother is Ziyu's biological mother. She had her with another beast man years ago. Ziyu suddenly realized. So that's how it is. What would happen if Father found out? I immediately thought in my mind, Jiang, can you find the time and place of Mother's secret meetings with her lover? And is that man Ziyu's biological father? The system's voice answered quickly, with a hint of gossip, of course. Host, Mother's lover is named Black Rock, a beast man on the edge of the tribe, and he is indeed Ziyu's biological father. They meet every evening behind the mountain. Today is their appointed day. If you go now, you'll catch them just in time. Upon hearing the news, a flash of cold intent crossed my eyes. I stood up to tidy my clothes. I can't just tell Father directly. That would seem too deliberate. I need to set the scene for the truth to be revealed naturally. This is going to be a fun show. I smirked, walking out to settle the score. All I need to do is lead him to the mountain behind the tribe. At this time, Lu Xiao has just finished his duties, and usually goes to patrol the back mountain, checking on the security of the perimeter. It's the perfect opportunity. I hurried toward the plaza, pretending to just wander around, and intentionally loitered near Lu Xiao's personal beast guard. Sure enough, before long, Lu Xiao led his personal guard, heading toward the back mountain for his patrol. Seeing this, I feigned panic, and bumped into Lu Xiao's arm. Lu Xiao, I just went to the back mountain to pick wild fruits, and I think I saw Mother. She was following a stranger, heading toward the remote caves. I didn't dare ask any questions, and I didn't dare follow them. After saying that, I immediately lowered my head, acting timid, as if I had just stumbled upon it by accident, and was afraid to speak up. Lu Xiao had already been suspicious, due to his mother's recent abnormal behavior. Hearing my words, his face darkened instantly. Are you telling the truth? Did you see it wrong? I quickly nodded. Is what you said true? I didn't see it wrong. I quickly nodded. With an earnest look, Lu Xiao, I wouldn't dare lie to you. I saw it clearly. It was definitely Mother. I've never seen that beast man before. They were moving fast, like they were afraid of being discovered. Lu Xiao didn't ask further, snapped coldly at his guard, to the back mountain. He then strode toward the back mountain, his expression terrifyingly grim. I didn't follow them, but stood in the corner of the plaza, waiting quietly. I knew that in the caves at the back mountain, a shameful scene was unfolding right now. Lu Xiao's arrival would completely shatter Mother's facade. About half an hour later, a violent roar erupted from the back mountain. That was the sound of Lu Xiao's suppressed rage exploding. All the beast men were stunned by the anger, stopping what they were doing to whisper and gossip. Revenge is sweet. I didn't dwell on it, carrying my shower gel, and snuck down to the lower reaches of the forest stream. It's more secluded here than upstream, so I don't have to worry about another awkward encounter like the one with Yi Chen. Jiang, give me the weight loss and whitening pills. Got it, host, preparing them for you now. A short while later, 2 small pills appeared in my hand. Precisely measured by the system. I didn't hesitate, and swallowed them right down. The pills melted upon touching my tongue, and a faint fragrance diffused in my throat. I looked down at myself in the water. Though not exactly thin, I had already shed the bloating of the past. My figure becoming much more balanced, and my skin was significantly fairer. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call myself a slim beauty now. I sat on a blue stone by the river, scrubbing my body thoroughly. The creek water flowed over my ankles, carrying the scent of vegetation. Just as I was enjoying the scrub, I heard the sound of rustling footsteps behind me. A tall figure suddenly flashed in front of me, casting a shadow that enveloped me instantly. Who is it? I was so scared I stiffened completely, letting out a yelp, and slipped, falling into the river with a splash, sending water flying everywhere. The person was none other than Feng He. He had come to the river to drink water, and hadn't expected to stumble upon this scene. The moonlight spilled onto the water surface, my soaked clothes clinging to my body, outlining my full curves vividly. I could clearly see that Feng He, who had always been indifferent to me, had an Adam's apple that rolled involuntarily, a flash of astonishment crossing his eyes. Feng He was lost in his own thoughts. But I didn't have the luxury of caring. My eyes glued to the bottle of shower gel that had fallen into the water with me. This was the only reward from the system. My treasure for becoming clean and beautiful. It would break my heart if I lost it. I stamped my feet in a panic, ignoring the cold wetness on my skin, and dove toward the shower gel. But just as my fingertips were about to touch the bottle, a sharp pain shot through my calf, my leg giving out entirely. It was a cramp. My heart skipped a beat, thinking, oh no, I didn't want to drown in this river. Not long after transmigrating, before achieving my ideal figure or conquering my beast husbands. After the initial panic, I forced myself to stay calm, stopping the frantic flailing, and relaxing my body to float on the water surface, using its buoyancy to maintain balance, until the cramp in my calf eased. On the shore, Feng He watched me suddenly go quiet, floating motionless on the water, his brows knitting together instantly. I was waiting for my leg to recover, when I caught a glimpse out of the corner of my eye, of a large figure swimming toward me. Looking closely, it was Feng He. I was instantly dumbfounded, my mind silently scoffing, why did this jerk come over? He must be here to laugh at me. He probably wishes I would drown, so I'd stop bothering him every day. After all, his favorability rating toward me was still -90. And he had avoided me like the plague before. How could he possibly be here to save me sincerely, without letting me overthink it any further? Feng He had already reached me, and without a word, he put his arms under my armpits, and hauled me out of the water. Caught off guard, I crashed into his chest, my mind going completely blank. This was the first time Feng He had touched me voluntarily, and in such an intimate position, no less. Once I recovered, I struggled to get out of his arms, shouting at him, let go of me. Put me down right now. My shower gel is going to float away. Feng He was annoyed by my flailing, and my internal thoughts were racing. I wasn't actually drowning, and while I appreciated him trying to save me, my shower gel was far more important. This guy is completely unreasonable. Seeing me struggle even harder, and noticing I didn't look like I was actually drowning, Feng He simply let go. Splash! I fell back into the water with a heavy thud, choking on several mouthfuls of water, flailing my limbs wildly, and cursing in anger. You bastard! How dare you throw me back in? Feng He shook the water off himself. You're the one who asked me to let you go. I was grinding my teeth in rage, but I didn't have the energy to argue with him. Suddenly, my eyes lit up, and I slapped my own forehead. I'm so stupid. I forgot I have supernatural abilities. With a flick of my mind, a vine sprouted from my palm, shooting swiftly toward the shower gel, wrapping precisely around the bottle, and with a gentle tug, I pulled it into my hands. I clutched the bottle tightly and beamed. My wood element ability is reliable after all. Feng He stood on the side, watching me go from anxious to wild with joy. Couldn't help but knit his brows. Ignored me after that. and turned to head toward the downstream section of the creek. Seeing him purposely go downstream to wash, a flash of mischief crossed my eyes, and I silently rolled my eyes. Disgusted by me? Then I'll indulge you. I deliberately found a spot not too far, nor too close, to Fenghe to sit down, dangled my feet into the water, and started hollering at the top of my lungs, "Time to wash my feet." I haven't washed my feet in months. I wonder what they smell like. I could feel that. Fenghe, who was scrubbing himself downstream, paused abruptly. I didn't even have to look to know. His handsome face must have turned as dark as the bottom of a pot. I deliberately increased my volume again, humming a nursery rhyme from the apocalypse. Wash, 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 wash. Oh, wash, wash, wash. Ha ha ha. He couldn't help but turn back to glance at me. I was dangling my feet and humming to my heart's content, my face wearing a brilliant smile, the moonlight making my face exceptionally radiant. Host, Fenghe's favorability rating has increased by 20 points. Current favorability is -70. Keep it up, host. The system Jiangzhang's voice rang out instantly. I was stunned for a moment, the smile on my face freezing. What? I annoyed him this much. And his favorability still went up. I never expected that Fenghe actually enjoyed this kind of vibe. It seems there might be a shortcut to conquering this jerk after all. Realizing this, the smile at the corner of my mouth widened, and I completely abandoned my reserved nature, letting myself go, and singing even more boisterous songs at the top of my lungs. Just when I thought Fenghe's favorability would continue to rise, a black shadow suddenly darted behind me, and Fenghe's cold voice rang out in my ear. It's useless no matter how much you sing. I will never be with you. Give up. I was startled, and spun around to see Fenghe frowning, but hiding a trace of undetectable panic in his eyes. I was speechless instantly, rolling my eyes. Who wants to be with you? Don't be so full of yourself. The moment the words left my mouth, my cheeks reddened inexplicably. Fenghe looked at my flushed face, a flash of surprise crossing his eyes, and then he raised his eyebrows. You don't? Then why were you acting so crazy just now in front of me? Singing those strange songs. If not to attract my attention? I was just entertaining myself. Who wants to attract your attention? I countered huffily, turning my face away to avoid looking at him. Fenghe stared at my blushing ears for a few seconds, then turned, walked around me, and left without looking back. I watched his departing back, pouting my lips. What a dense, unromantic jerk. Though I said that, I was secretly overjoyed. As long as the favorability goes up, it's fine. I'll have plenty of chances to conquer him later. The next day, I got up and climbed out of bed, took out yesterday's wild vegetables and yellow goat meat, and got to work. Before long, a pot of aromatic, pan-seared goat chops was ready. Golden, crispy. The fragrance filled the entire room. I ate a piece. The taste was superb, and there was more than half left in the pot. Why not bring a bowl to those few jerks? Even though they are annoying, they are my targets to conquer. Or else I won't be able to level up. Just as I was about to bring the food over, footsteps echoed at the doorway. UCI walked in holding a bunch of fruits. UCI. Why are you here? UCI put down the fruits, his gaze drifting involuntarily toward the meat in my hand, his throat rolling unconsciously. He had tasted it yesterday. My soup tasted amazing, and smelling the aroma of meat now made him instantly hungry. You came at the perfect time. I just made some pan-seared goat chops. Come, have some together. I can't finish it all by myself anyway. UCI was stunned for a moment, then nodded, not being polite at all, and began to wolf down the goat chops. I sat across from UCI, watching him eat with a smile, my heart filled with a sense of accomplishment. As expected, delicious food is the universal key to conquering beast husbands. If I can rely on food to conquer all 5 beast husbands, it would save me from having to scheme and use my wit. It would certainly save me a lot of trouble. UC's features were androgynous, radiating a gentle aura, but seeing him wolf down the food added a touch of wildness. which somehow made him even more charming. I watched him, somewhat lost in thought. He couldn't help but glance back a few times. You see, I felt a bit uncomfortable under my gaze. He stopped what he was doing. Frowning, he asked, "Why do you keep staring at me? Is there something on my face?" I quickly looked away. I smiled and said, No. I just think you look really good. Better looking than most of the beast men here." You see, I was stunned. In the past, many females had said similar things to him. He always found it annoying, but hearing me say it, he inexplicably felt happy. He even felt a little shy. He asked in a low voice, "Really? Then who do you think is better looking among me, Xing Mo, Lin Ji, Feng He, and Yi Chen? All 5 of you look great. Each has their own unique charm. You are all the top handsome men in the oasis." You see, I raised an eyebrow. Clearly, he was very satisfied with this answer. He pressed further, "Then tell me, what is unique about each of us 5? My mouth twitched. I felt like in the next second, you see, I would ask, if both he and his mother fell into a river, who would I save? I looked at his slightly tense expression and couldn't help but want to tease him. I deliberately dragged out my tone. Xing Mo is the domineering and arrogant type. Lin Ji is the cold, handsome god, and Feng He is, like a breeze in the mountains, gentle yet powerful. Yi Chen is aloof and ethereal, carrying an air of immortality. And you," I paused, "you are gentle and kind, like the warm sun in winter, making people want to get close to you." You see, I was slightly stunned. Although he didn't understand what domineering and arrogant, or cold, handsome god meant, he still understood the general meaning. A wave of warmth instantly surged in his heart. The corners of his mouth curled up involuntarily. Host, UC's favorability rating has increased by 10 points. Reward, 1 weight loss pill. I didn't expect that just praising him a bit would increase favorability, and I could even get a reward. This is totally worth it. UCI, you're not only good looking but also so capable. So gentle and attentive. There must be many girls who like you, right? Host, UC's favorability rating has increased by 5 points. Ha ha ha. It seems the key to conquering UCI is just to praise him more. Don't think that just by saying some nice things, I will be with you. Last night, you acting crazy in the West, and deliberately harassing Feng He, is something the whole tribe knows about. I almost choked on my own saliva. I was speechless for a moment. Who wants to be with you? How is it that you men have such strange trains of thought? I was just genuinely praising you. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got, and I couldn't be bothered to talk to him anymore. You see, I got up, holding the remaining meat, and turned to walk out of the room. Where are you going? You see, I looked at my back. I said without looking back, to give some food to the others. You see's brows furrowed even tighter, and the irritability in his heart grew even stronger. The men's rooms were all at the highest point. Previously, the original owner rarely went to disturb them, because she was too fat to climb up there. They were also happy to be left in peace. Fortunately, I've lost a lot of weight now, and although climbing this path is a bit tiring, I can still make it. After finally reaching the door of Xing Mo's room, I found that there was no one inside. Just as I was about to turn to the adjacent room, I bumped head-on into Xing Mo, who was returning. Our eyes met, and the air instantly became awkward. I blinked my eyes, barely managing to squeeze out a smile. Xing Mo, I brought you some food. It's so delicious. He pretended to be calm, frowning as he asked, "Are you sure this meat is edible? You didn't poison it, did you?" In his eyes, I definitely didn't have good intentions, perhaps wanting to pull another trick. My mouth twitched violently. So angry I almost dropped the bowl on the ground. "Xing Mo, can you have a bit of conscience? I kindly brought you food, and you actually suspect me of poisoning it? Eat it or don't, I don't care. Eat it or don't. Don't bother if you're not going to eat." I turned to take the meat away. Seeing this, Xing Mo hurriedly reached out to stop me, a faint, imperceptible smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. "Since you brought it, there's no reason to take it back. I'll eat it." As soon as he finished speaking, he snatched the bowl from my hand, turned and walked into the room, picked up a piece of meat and stuffed it into his mouth. I stood frozen on the spot, completely baffled. Isn't this arrogant man supposed to be cold and proud? How can he just snatch it like that? And he actually took both bowls. After reacting, I rushed into the room shouting, "Xing Mo, stop it. The other 2 bowls are for Lin Ji and Yi Chen. You can't eat them all. Xing Mo, chewing the venison in his mouth, said unclearly. For them? They just hunted a wild buffalo last night. They must have already eaten. These are naturally all mine. I stomped my feet in anger. Why did you eat them all? Give them back to me. As I spoke, I stepped forward to snatch them back. Xing Mo effortlessly lifted me to the side. As his fingertips touched my body, he was instantly stunned. How did she lose so much weight overnight? Xing Mo was surprised in his heart, but his face remained calm. Xing Mo was surprised in his heart, but he didn't show it on his face. It's just a bowl of meat. I'll give it back to you later. I glared at him fiercely, knowing I couldn't beat him anyway. So I gave up. Fine, I won't argue with you. I'll go tell Lin Ji and see how he deals with you. As I said this, I turned and walked out of the room. Just as I stepped out, I collided with a cold figure. I clutched my nose, tears almost coming out from the pain. I looked up and saw it was Lin Ji. Lin Ji, can you make some sound when you walk? My nose was almost flattened by you. Lin Ji frowned, looking at my teary-eyed appearance. A flash of imperceptible guilt crossing his heart. But his mouth remained sharp-tongued. Your nose was already flat. A little flatter doesn't matter. I was grinding my teeth in anger, glaring at him viciously. Stop with the sarcastic comments. Your share was snatched by that arrogant jerk Xing Mo. Why don't you go snatch it back? Lin Ji, upon hearing this, immediately furrowed his brows, looking displeased toward Xing Mo's room. I stood to one side, with a look of watching a show. I really want to see which of these 2 aloof and arrogant beastmen is tougher. But the next second, Lin Ji's reaction completely stunned me. Since he likes it, let him have it all. I stood frozen, with a blank face. That's it? They didn't even start a fight? After Lin Ji finished speaking, he didn't look at me again, just brushed himself off and turned to walk away, leaving only a cold back view. I cursed secretly. It's all that jerk Xing Mo's fault. A perfectly good show was ruined just like that. I viciously turned to glare at Xing Mo, the dissatisfaction in my eyes practically spilling over. Xing Mo curled his lips, smiling as he said, good cooking skill. From now on, my food will be your responsibility. My mouth twitched violently, and I almost laughed out of anger. This jerk scheming is really something, isn't it? He wants me to cook for him and act as a maid every day? Dream on. On my way back, I was still secretly complaining about how shameless Xing Mo was. Suddenly, a notification sound from the system rang out. Ding. Congratulations, host. Xing Mo's favorability has increased by 40 points, bringing current favorability to minus 20 points. Please keep up the good work, host. And reach 0 as soon as possible to unlock the side quest. I looked down at the empty stone plate in my hand, and suddenly had an epiphany. I see. No wonder the old saying goes that if you want to capture a man's heart, you must first capture his stomach. Once I realized this, the anger in my heart vanished instantly, and my footsteps became much lighter as I headed back. The sky grew darker, and the night breeze felt cooler. I lay on the bed and fell asleep shortly after. Maybe because I was too tired from cooking all day. But before long, I was awakened by a sharp wolf howl. Instantly, all my sleepiness vanished. I opened my eyes wide, cursing in a low voice, who has no civic virtue. Howling like a wolf in the middle of the night. Don't you let people sleep? I got out of bed, and just as I reached the door, I was completely shocked by the scene outside. I saw all the beastmen in the oasis had transformed into their true forms, rushing outward in unison. The scene was extremely spectacular, and filled with some panic. Someone shouted, their voice full of urgency, the chief has ordered. Don't let Xiqing escape. We must bring her back. My heart skipped a beat, instantly understanding the reason. It turned out that just now, my brother, unable to bear the thought of mother being trapped in the dungeon forever, had teamed up with her lover to secretly help her escape. I pursed my lips, thinking of turning back to continue sleeping. I couldn't be bothered with these irrelevant matters. But I hadn't even taken 2 steps, when a notification sound echoed in my mind. Ding. Hidden quest triggered, help Xiqing successfully escape. Upon completion, you will be rewarded with a whitening pill. A weight loss pill? I was instantly livid, roaring in my heart. System, do you think I've lived too long? I testified against my mother to the chief. She hates me enough to skin me alive right now. Host, this quest didn't appear for no reason. No matter how bad Xiqing is, she is still the mother of this body. If she dies because of you, it will have a negative impact on your luck. When I heard impact on luck, I was instantly conflicted. I don't want to be unlucky every day, to the point of even chipping a tooth while drinking water. After hesitating for a moment, I finally compromised. Fine. What do I need to do? Xiqing is currently being helped to escape by her other lover, Lei Wei. Xing Yimou happens to be in charge of the pursuit. You just need to stop Xing Yimou, or divert him at the right time, so he cannot find Lei Wei and Xiqing. I quickly asked, has Xing Yimou already left? If he has already left, even with 8 legs I couldn't catch up. I was instantly panicked. I ran outside. After this period of dieting and exercise, my speed has improved quite a bit. It didn't take long to rush to the square. Many beastmen had already gathered in the square. Xing Yimou was standing in the middle of the crowd, assigning pursuit tactics, clearly preparing to set off. When he saw me appear suddenly, he was full of surprise. What are you doing here in the middle of the night? On second thought, the person running away was my mother, and Xing Yimou understood in his heart. Assuming I wanted to follow him to see Xiqing, he didn't ask further and directly transformed, turning into a majestic giant tiger. With an imposing figure and an intimidating presence, I wasn't afraid, directly walking over and climbing onto his back. Xing Yimou felt the weight on his back and was instantly stunned. Although he had been very fond of the food I cooked recently, and his favorability had increased, that didn't mean I could just climb onto his back. If you don't take me, don't even think about eating the delicious food I make anymore. Xing Yimou was instantly rendered speechless. There was no other way. After eating someone's food, you are obliged to help them. He had been utterly captivated by my cooking recently. I can't just leave, let alone take me with you. Even if I asked him to be my mount, I bet he'd hesitate before agreeing. Haha, what? Are you afraid? Afraid I'll hold you back? Don't worry, even if I can't protect you, I won't be a burden either. Xing Yimou was instantly infuriated by this. When had he ever been afraid? He stopped wasting time, exerting force with all 4 limbs, and bolted forward with me on his back, like an arrow released from a bowstring, soon vanishing into the night. The whole way, I was racking my brain, figuring out how to stop Xing Yimou from catching Xiqing. System, where are Xiqing and Lei Wei right now? In the forest ahead. Xing Yimou and the others must have caught their scent, which is why they've been following this trail. At this speed, they'll catch up very soon. Once I heard this, I panicked. Is this man always this intense? He was about to catch them silently. Xiqing absolutely cannot be captured. Otherwise, my mission will fail. My eyes darted around, and I pointed at a nearby bush. Xing Yimou, look over there, there's movement. Is that Xiqing and the others? Stop it. There's nothing there. My lips twitched. And when one plan failed, I came up with another. I deliberately pretended to have an upset stomach. Acting agreed. Xing Yimou, your jolting is making me want to throw up. Can you stop for a second? Xing Yimou stumbled, nearly falling to the ground. Although he was annoyed, he stopped in the end. He then ordered the dozen or so companions behind him to keep pursuing, while he stayed behind to accompany me. I watched as those beastmen rushed past us. I could use excuses to stall Xing Yimou, but I couldn't stop those other beastmen. If they managed to catch up to Xiqing, it would be over, and I would completely fail. But at this point, I couldn't think of any other way, so I could only silently pray that Xiqing could run faster. Seeing me just standing there, Xing Yimou couldn't help but urge me. Didn't you say you were going to throw up? Why aren't you going? I gave an awkward laugh, and shamelessly lied. Actually, I don't feel like throwing up anymore. Let's keep chasing Xiqing and the others. Although Xing Yimou was displeased, he didn't say much, transforming back into his true form and letting me climb on to continue the chase. On the other side, Xiqing lay on Lei Wei's back, silently swearing that she would have Lei Wei team up with her other lovers to trample the wolf tribe. Especially that little bitch Lu Ming, who caused her to be thrown into the dungeon. She would definitely settle this score. Just as Si Qing was inwardly stewing in rage, she suddenly felt Lei Wu's speed slow down. And eventually, he stopped completely. Her heart skipped a beat, thinking the pursuers had arrived. Scared pale, trembling all over. Are the pursuers here? Lei Wu hurriedly reassured her, Little Nine. Don't be afraid, it's not the pursuers. There's no path forward. Si Qing breathed a sigh of relief and lifted her eyes to look around, only to discover a bottomless cliff in front of him. It was a dead end. She fell into despair, her voice trembling. It's over, it's over. Lei Wu, are we going to die here? I don't want to die yet. Vaguely, she could hear howling coming from behind, and she knew the pursuers were getting closer. The fear in Si Qing's heart intensified. Lei Wu was also panicking, but tried to remain calm, comforting her softly. Qing'er, don't be afraid. I'm here, I won't let anything happen to you. Even though he said that, he didn't know what to do either. The pursuers were almost upon them, and ahead was a cliff, leaving them nowhere to escape. They couldn't just jump off the cliff with Si Qing, could they? Xing Mo and I quickly arrived at the cliff's edge. I immediately saw Lei Wu standing by the cliff. He had transformed into his true form, a majestic golden lion, with Si Qing by his side, pale and trembling all over. Seeing them trapped at the cliff's edge, my expression also turned grim. Damn it. How can I help Si Qing escape in this situation? How can I help Si Qing escape in this situation? My eyes lit up suddenly, and I quickly asked the system, Jing, what's at the bottom of this cliff? If Lei Wu jumps down with Si Qing, is there a chance of survival? Host, this cliff is very deep. The depth is unmeasurable, and there is an underground river at the bottom. If Lei Wu jumps down with Si Qing, the chance of survival is slim, but it's not entirely impossible. My eyes flickered, and I had a plan. I looked up towards Si Qing and Lei Wu, who had been backed into the cliff, and said in a raised voice, Si Qing, for the sake of you giving birth to me, I can point out a way for you to live. It just depends on whether you dare to risk it. As soon as I said this, Xing Mo furrowed his brows, wanting to stop me. But then he hesitated. I want to see what trick this woman is trying to pull. At this moment, Si Qing, seeing that I was among the pursuers, wanted to rip my skin off. But when she heard me say there was a way to live, she perked up immediately, and hurriedly asked, what way to live? The corners of my mouth curled up, and I pointed at the bottomless cliff in front of us. Speaking slowly, jump from here. What? You want me to jump off a cliff? Si Qing's expression changed abruptly, her voice rising 8 degrees. Lu Ming, you little bitch. You actually want to kill me? Xing Mo's mouth twitched fiercely. This woman really had malicious intent, telling Si Qing to jump off a cliff. She really came up with that one. Such a deep cliff. Even if he jumped, he wouldn't necessarily survive. I seemed to have noticed Si Qing's concerns, and said as if nothing was wrong. There's an underground river at the bottom of the cliff. If you are lucky enough, you might just save your life. After a pause, I added, of course, you can also try to resist. But just the two of you. I'm afraid you can't beat so many beastmen. Once you are captured and dragged back, Afu surely won't go easy on you. Xing Mo was stunned when he heard about the underground river. A woman who had never really left the tribe. Since she was young, how would she know about the river at the bottom? Just how many secrets is this woman hiding? Lei Wu was silent after hearing this. He looked at the trembling Si Qing beside him, and quickly made up his mind. Instead of waiting to die after being captured, it's better to jump off the cliff and fight for a chance at life. Qing'er, do you trust me? Lei Wu's tone was incredibly serious. Xiqing looked at his determined expression and froze for a moment. Although she was still afraid, she still nodded with a pale face. I trust you. At this point, she had no other choice. The two made up their minds, preparing to jump off the cliff. But at that critical moment, Xiqing suddenly turned her gaze to me, showing a sorrowful and reluctant expression on her face. Mother knows I haven't been good to you in the past, but you are my own flesh and blood after all. Before I die, I want to touch you one last time. Can I? I sneered inwardly. I don't believe Xiqing has suddenly had a change of heart. This woman is full of bad intentions. She probably wants to drag me off the cliff with her. Just say whatever you want to say right there. I can hear you. Seeing that I wouldn't fall for it, Xiqing was gnashing her teeth in hatred, but continued to act pitiable. Looking at Leiwa beside her. Leiwa, I really want to touch Ming'er before I die. Can you help me get closer to her? Leiwa sighed in his heart, only thinking that Xiqing had a compassionate maternal heart, so he nodded. He gave a low roar, and rushed towards Xingmo with Xiqing. Moving with astonishing speed, nobody reacted in time. I reacted instantly, my face changing drastically, shouting loudly, Xingmo, get out of the way. Before the words were even out, Xingmo had already pulled me and retreated rapidly. But Leiwa's speed was truly too fast, and in the blink of an eye, he was already in front of us. Xiqing, who was sitting on Leiwa's back, had eyes full of crazy hatred, and she reached out to grab me. Xingmo's eyes flashed with cold light, and without hesitation, he lifted his foot, kicking Leiwa hard in the abdomen. Leiwa let out a scream, taken by surprise, and kicked to the ground. Along with Xiqing on his back, they rolled towards the edge of the cliff. Seeing the two about to roll off the cliff, Xiqing suddenly laughed like a madwoman. Lu Ming, I'll drag you with me even if I have to die. I gave you your life. Today I'll take it back. While she laughed, she reached out and grabbed my ankle tightly, pulling down with all her might. I only felt my ankle tighten. A huge force came from it, and I instantly lost my balance, falling down the cliff. This sudden turn of events stunned everyone present. No one expected Xiqing would suddenly go crazy, let alone be so ruthless. Xingmo reacted the fastest, stretching out his long arm the moment I fell, and grabbing my wrist tightly. I looked up at Xingmo, who was on the cliff's edge, holding on to me firmly, my expression full of shock. Xingmo, you. I really didn't expect. This damn man who mocked me every day would disregard his own danger to save me. Don't misunderstand. I'm just afraid I won't be able to report back to the chief if you die. Xingmo's voice was a bit hoarse, his forehead covered in cold sweat. Although he said that, his hand gripped tighter and tighter, his knuckles turning white. I just wanted to speak, when I felt the force on my ankle increase even more. Xiqing was still struggling crazily, pulling both me and Xingmo, and we were sliding down. You fat woman, didn't you lose weight? Why are you still so heavy? Xingmo bit his teeth, his arms shaking slightly, furious to the point of nearly vomiting blood. Xiqing was clutching my ankle tightly, and added to my own weight, he was almost unable to hold on. He turned his head to look at the cliff's edge, at the companions who were still stunned, roaring, what are you staring at? Come and help me pull them up. The beastmen finally reacted, rushing forward to help pull us up. But a beastman named Quang Tai had a cold look in his eyes, clearly having bad intentions. He pretended to follow the others in reaching out to pull, but actually faked an accident by kicking a pebble. The pebble, hitting exactly the arm Xingmo was holding the rock with. Xingmo's arm felt a sharp sting, and out of reflex, he let go. The next second, Xiqing and I both fell straight down the cliff. I only felt my body falling continuously, the feeling of piercing wind making my head spin. In my panic, I subconsciously activated my healing ability, and the vine in my hand swung hard, quickly wrapping around a crooked tree in the middle of the cliff. This barely prevented us from falling further. But before I could even catch my breath, A crisp cracking sound came from above. The branch that the vine was wrapped around had actually snapped under our combined weight. I was struck with a feeling of helpless despair. Is this just my terrible luck? I just died once, and now I'm dying again? Accompanied by the sound of the branch breaking, Xiqing and I plummeted downwards together. Just at that moment, a gust of wind rushed from the distance. It was Yi Chen, who had flown over from afar. He grabbed me tightly, and with a splash, we dove directly into the dark river. A huge spray of water surged up. The water of the dark river was icy and bone-chilling. I only felt my head buzz with a deafening sound, and then I lost consciousness, fainting completely. I don't know how long I was out, but I felt myself moving, before being gently laid onto the ground. The next morning, in my hazy state, I felt something rubbing against my face. I waved my hand in discomfort, but the wet sensation on my face did not disappear. Instead, it traced from my cheek all the way to my neck. I finally stirred awake from the disturbance, opening my eyes in a daze. Coming into view was a patch of lush green grass, and a fluffy giant creature, which was Yi Chen's beast form. I was startled, waking up completely in an instant. Yi Chen, why are you here? Seeing I was awake, Yi Chen transformed into human form, his face resuming its usual look of disdain. I just happened to pass by and saw you jumping off a cliff. If you want to die, go somewhere further away next time. My mouth twitched violently. I had clearly seen the worry in his eyes just a moment ago, and I was actually touched. But now all that emotion vanished into thin air. This man is truly terrible at talking. This jerk is truly hopeless with words. Stubborn as a stone. Just then, a system notification sounded in my head. Congratulations, host. Yi Chen's favorability has increased by 20 points. Please keep up the good work, host. I haven't even done anything, have I? I just fell off a cliff and he saved me once. Yet this jerk's favorability went up again? I glanced at Yi Chen, seeing he had already stood up, and was scanning his surroundings with a vigilant look, evidently surveying the environment. The environment here was beautiful, with lush green grass, fragrant flowers everywhere, and a bubbling stream in the distance, like a paradise forgotten by the world. If you ignored the fact that Yi Chen and I looked completely disheveled right now, it would be a great place for a honeymoon. I stretched my limbs, and other than some soreness, I didn't seem to have any major injuries, save for some obvious scratch marks on my wrists, from when Xiqing held on to me for dear life before falling. I didn't feel the pain at first, but now that I had calmed down, I felt a sharp sting. Thinking of Xiqing, a chill involuntarily crept into my eyes. That vicious woman. I wonder if she fell to her death. I turned to look at Yi Chen, and saw that the wings on his back were also injured. Dripping with blood, I secretly activated my healing ability, a jade green vine emerging from my palm, radiating a gentle green light, which I gently brushed over the wounds on his wings. When Yi Chen looked back, he happened to see me using my healing ability. He caught me in the act of treating his wounds. A trace of admiration flickered in Yi Chen's silver eyes, but what he said was still as annoying as ever. I didn't expect you to be too stupid to heal, at least. I rolled my eyes. Too lazy to argue with him. Would it kill you to give me a compliment? Stubborn as a stone. Yi Chen flexed his wings, a faint smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. The smile was very light, fleeting and gone in an instant. If I hadn't been watching closely, I would have almost missed it. He glanced at me, his tone still carrying a bit of impatience, yet lacking the usual coldness. What are you standing there for? Do you intend to stay here until dark? I'm taking you back. As soon as he finished speaking, a flash of light surrounded him, and he transformed back into that fluffy giant bird. His grayish-brown feathers shimmered with a soft luster under the sun, and his sharp talons landed steadily on the ground, signaling me to climb onto his back. I looked at his broad back, complaining to myself, but not daring to delay in practice, cautiously climbing up. I grabbed his neck feathers tightly with both hands, terrified of falling off due to a single slip. Fly slowly. I'm scared of heights, I whispered in my plea, with a hint of hidden cowardice. Yi Chen did not respond, but gently brushed his wing against my arm, as if to reassure me. In the next second, he beat his wings and took off, soaring straight into the clouds with me. The wind whistled past my ears, and I instinctively closed my eyes, pressing tightly against his back, clearly feeling his warm body heat. and his steady heartbeat. A sense of security rose inexplicably in my heart. The flight didn't take very long. About half an hour or so, before I felt Yi-Chen's speed slow down. The wind at my ears gradually softened as well. I slowly opened my eyes and saw the familiar outline of the tribe. Many beast men were gathered at the entrance, seemingly waiting anxiously for something. Yi-Chen landed steadily at the tribe gate. I quickly slid down from his back. Xing Mo ran over from afar. "You idiot. Why were you so reckless as to go near the cliff yesterday? Do you have any idea how worried we were?" His gaze swept over the scratch marks on my wrists, and his brows furrowed even tighter, reaching out to touch but fearing he might hurt me. Eventually, he stiffly added, "Why haven't you treated your wounds? So stupid." Lin Jin stood to the side without speaking, simply walking up silently, pulling a bottle of herbal ointment from his chest to hand to me. Feng He leaned against a nearby tree, his cold face showing a rare ripple of emotion, his gaze lingering on me, not leaving even after confirming I was alright. Yu Zi walked over and gently took my wrist. Thankfully the wounds aren't too deep. Surrounded by these 5 partners, some expressing concern with harsh words, others guarding me in silence, my heart felt warm watching them, the corners of my mouth curling upward uncontrollably. Although these 5 partners are all arrogant, they are quite reliable in crucial moments. Just then, the system's voice suddenly rang out in my head, breaking the warm atmosphere. "Host, Si Qing's vital signs are detected as stable. She is not dead, and is currently in a comatose state." The smile on my face instantly stiffened, and my pupils contracted sharply. That vicious woman fell off the cliff, and she still managed to survive? Sigh. My journey to lose weight and become beautiful, along with my belly slimming mission, still has a long way to go.